This takes us to item D, ordinance amendment for the solar energy system. Just like we have done almost every month for the last 8 years that I've been on this board, we talked about ordinance revision and trying to make it a better, more user-friendly, streamlined ordinance. So,
Yes.
Michael, I think you're up.
I'd be happy to.
Yes, it is.
So,
We just had our
this
business.
is essentially the same solar ordinance that we sent out to the townships back in, I think it was early July. I think it was passed before that. What I passed out to you today is, it's a red line version showing the changes that were made based on the township comments. Actually, I don't think we passed out the township comment yet for this. We'll pass this out real quick.
Okay.
There's a couple more actually. So we received comment from Venice Township, New Haven, and Woodhull.
You didn't get one from Perry?
No. Never received one. Or California.
We turned in the ball. I'm sorry.
Our office hasn't received anything yet, but yeah, so these comments, the changes that you see here are based off of those comments. So for the most part, I can just walk through them really quick because there really aren't a whole lot. On page 2 is where it starts. Some of these were just errors that we kind of missed beforehand. Removal of testing facilities anywhere in this ordinance was just a typo. It was taken from another ordinance that just wasn't applicable. But B on page 2, we were asked by New Haven Township to increase the private SES kilowatts from 10 to 20. They said that it's common for a farm operation to need more than 10 kilowatts of power, and they just requested 20. We thought that was reasonable, so we accommodated that.
You see that, right here.
Woodhull Township asked if we... Sorry, go.
Hold on just a second.
You're fine.
This one here, no.
What's that wrong?
There it is.
That's what I wanted.
Yep, and now page 2.
Sorry about that, chief. I'm looking wrong page.
What number was it, Jim?
So that was page 2, B. At the very top of the page, it was went from 10 to 20. Yep. Moving down on there, under 3 general standards on A, we removed testing facilities. Like I mentioned before, that was a typo. It was taken from some of these things were taken from some of our wind research, and testing facilities that's common with wind, but not solar. We were asked also by Woodhull Township to remove registered professional engineer registered in the state of Michigan. They'd rather have seen just a professional engineer, and we gave that up to the discretion of the zoning administrator. So we're not just bringing in any random engineer. Railroad engineer. That's what we talked about. You're right. So moving down from there, we were asked to increase the setback. So instead of having 20 feet from a property line, from a side or rear property line, we increased that to 40 feet at the request of New Haven Township. We also removed H at the bottom of page 2, the word immediately. It was unnecessary, and it didn't really add anything to that section. Feel free to stop me if anybody has questions or concerns about any sections of these, any part of these.
Well, I guess can we go back to 2F?
Yeah.
Page 2, number 3, F.
Okay.
Removing private.
Yes. So we did not feel it was necessary if an individual wanted to install a couple solar panels on their house to get a professional engineer to certify all of the drawings for that.
Right.
We just thought that was going to be too much, so we just limited that to commercial.
That's one of the things we need to mention in Perry Township. In fact, that if someone wants to have a hose around the roof,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
That was just a little excessive, we thought.
Yeah.
On page 3, I,
Mhm.
We removed non-participating. It should just state the closest property line to the SES. That again was part of that, typo stuff.
Mhm.
Same thing with the testing facility on K. Moving on to section 4, which is all in regards to commercial solar energy systems. We added in, for the environmental analysis, companies will have to do water and air quality supply for the area, make sure that they're not impacting that in a negative way. We also included increased setbacks for commercial facilities to 200 feet from any habitable structure. And that was at the request of New Haven Township as well. And that would be it for page 3. Page 4, there was quite a bit. There was most of the concerns that we saw were regarding decommissioning. We felt that that was reasonable, and since we spent so much time on the decommissioning for our wind energy systems, we pulled this language from the wind energy systems and adapted it for solar. You'll find the one major change that I added in would be to, as they're decommissioning, not to have to remove all the concrete below ground, just up to 4 feet below ground they would have to remove. And that's reflected in number 5 on page 4. Moving back up, kind of skipped around a little bit there on you, but on L, buffering, that was one thing that was noted in Venice Township's comments. There was really no reference to that, so we gave it up to the Planning Commission to add buffering if there were properties nearby that were residential and felt that it needed it. Another thing noted in rewrite, just to keep it consistent, was on M number 2, we changed it from 90 days to 6 months. It was a 6-month period to restore the site back to an acceptable standard. And that was also mentioned previously in the ordinance. But yeah, again, this is taken right from the wind. So if there are any questions or concerns, feel free.
At this point, we've definitely used due diligence in looking at this language, submitting it to the townships, looking at their responses, implementing those as we felt necessary. I guess at this point in time, we need to consider moving this on to the county commissioners. So is there any discussion, comments, questions?
I'd like to make a motion that the solar energy ordinance be passed on to the county board of commissioners.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and supported that we move the ordinance, SES ordinance, onto the county commissioners for approval.
As written, as
As submitted with the changes.
As submitted with the changes.
Yes.
Roll call vote to recommend approval to the Board of Commissioners.
Yes.
Robert Emmeyer,
Yes.
Walt Saxton,
yes.
Bonnie Reno,
Yes.
Thomas Foster,
Yes.
Michael Bruff,
Yes.
Bonnie Ott.
Yes,
Motion approved 6-0.
thank you.
We'll move that on to the Commissioners probably for next month.
Okay, thank you very much. It takes us to committee reports. Ordinance review did meet tonight. I sit on that committee, Steve Andrews sits on that committee, and so does Bob. Bob would like to do the report tonight. Bob?
As I mentioned earlier, we went over the changes to the solar energy and took into consideration the township's input, the rewrite committee's input, and what you have before you is what we came up with on solar energy. We also discussed Article 12 concerning special use permit. The one major change on Article 12 is the section 12.2.6 appeal. appeal of a decision on a special use permit request may not be taken to the Board of Appeals, or it has been in the past. The zoning Board of Appeals will no longer hear appeals on special use permits.
If I may add to that, or over you.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got that in front of you, Article 12, where that is one of the changes. This is an amendment where we're looking tonight to push that out to the townships to see how they feel about that and to get comments from them.
I was gonna say, 'cause it seems like that goes from the township, so.
So we discussed it, the language is in place, so now we'll be moving that on to the townships if we get the approval of the planning commission to do so.
So, and you also have a second, it's probably about 4 pages in front of you. Article 18, I think we're gonna do that as a separate item than Article 12. They're different articles.
Okay.
For logistical purposes, we'll do one at a time.
Well,
One's fairly straightforward and the other's a little more complicated.
I agree.
The one major change to Article 18 is reducing the zoning Board of Appeals to 5 members with 2 alternatives instead of 7.
Yeah, I can go on and expand on that a little more too. We've had some trouble maintaining a full board for the zoning Board of Appeals. Over the past years, it seems like, where we get a full board and then another member drops and we're back at 6 members or less. Right now, we currently have 5 sitting on the board. And it was brought up where we're having trouble. We think that it might be best to go to a 5-member board with possibly 2 alternates, where if one were not able to make it to the meeting or could not vote, the alternate would then step up and take their place. This will bring our quorum down to 3 members from 4. To pass a motion, you would need 3 members instead of 4 members. That is a major change.
Yes, it is.
In that. There are, if you look at it, there are a lot of changes to that Article 18. We had visited this a few years, probably about 2 years ago in our rewrite committee. We are working on redoing the entire ordinance and just basically going through either redundant material or unnecessary material. So a lot of that is cleaning up the wording of things.
Before we go any further into Article 18, do we need a motion for the first one?
Yep, so if we want to pass this on to the townships, we would need a motion for the first one and then also another motion for Article 18.
Okay, so I so move to take Article 12 with the proposed changes onto the townships.
Second that.
It's been moved and supported to send Article 12 revisions onto the townships. Roll call vote, please.
Roll call to send to the townships. Bonnie Reno,
Yes.
Walt Saxton,
Yes.
Michael Gruff,
Yes.
Thomas Foster,
Yes.
Robert Enmeyer,
Yes.
Bonnie Ott.
Yes.
All right, so we'll send that along.
So now back to 18.
Right, so now we're back to 18. If we feel comfortable with the proposed changes. And again, a lot of this is cleaning up just redundancies and, obviously everybody should be looking at that. But ultimately, we want the townships to take a stab at their suggested revisions as well. So if we feel comfortable doing that tonight, again, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to move Article 18 out to the townships for review.
Right, let's start off with Robert Enmeyer,
Yes.
Bonnie Reno,
Yes.
Yes.
hold on, Thomas
I
Foster,
had to do that. I had to do that during.
Michael Gruff,
Yes.
Walt Saxon,
Yes.
Monty, aye.
Yes.
We'll move that on to the board, and that's,
If I didn't pick on you, Matt, once in a while.
Thank you, Matt. Bob, did you have anything else to add about the ordinance review committee meeting tonight?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think we covered it. I think we covered it.
We talked a little bit about the next meetings, how the different dates of our next meetings.
Yeah, and we should probably mention that as well. Reminder that October should be a normal meeting, but because of Thanksgiving, our November meeting moves up to November 15th, which is opening day of your season, just for practical purposes of knowledge. And then also our December meeting would be December 13th
For the ordinances or for?
for the planning
a
commission.
regular.
Now,
Because
Okay, so can you?
The 4th, November 15th, December 13th, because the
Okay.
4th
Holidays, right.
Wednesday would fall in the holiday weeks.
Right.
now the end of October will be the public meeting also on the solar power, I mean, the wind power, is that correct?
Yeah, if everything goes as planned, that is the original schedule. There is a big however. However, there have been talks that we may not be ready to present that at that time, or we're still getting comments in from the township where rewrite would like more time to maybe just digest those comments before holding a public hearing. But we will, but please look in the newspaper, look for the agenda, because I'm not throwing it out there that it's not a possibility, because it most certainly could be.
And I'm gonna be out of the
We still have an
I won't be
opportunity
here for
to
October.
go to the gravel pits in October.
We
They haven't been out
we
yet, so
need
we
to
need to get
reschedule.
something up.
Yeah.
Okay, future land use first.
Okay, sorry.
Do we have a committee? Okay, nothing on future land use, parks and rec?
We haven't met since the last report I gave, and our next meeting is next Wednesday, October 6th at 6 p.m. in this building. So anybody who wants to attend, you're welcome. That may be our last meeting for the year.
Okay.
We'll have a report on the pavilion numbers and the closing and
Okay.
so forth.
All right, thank you. Gravel committee.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to find a date to get there.
Because we had to postpone our travels to at least two, we were hitting two, trying to hit 3 that day, and we just couldn't make it happen.
Okay.
So we have to reschedule.
So we scheduled for ASA yesterday. I know as soon as possible.
Yeah.
When Pete returns, I'm sure he'll come up with some kind of a plan. Communications received. Anything for us?
None other than,
All right.
no, none.
Director's comments? Gentlemen, you're both directors tonight. Is there anything else you want to comment on?
Nope.
All right, public comments. Anybody from the crowd?
Just a point of clarification, so do you meet on the fourth Wednesday or
Yes.
the last Wednesday?
Typically the 4th.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
9:06. Motion carried.
And again, I'm sorry, I won't be here in October. I will definitely not be here in October. I'm in
Wow.
Scotland and Ireland.
Well, good for
wow.
you.
Yeah, enjoy it.
With my
Yeah.
3 sisters, so.
Safe travels. Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be
For some
Out of the
reason,
country.
it's, scheduled for